Hello. Ooh, can you all hear me? Yes. Thanks very much for coming and being here. My name is Carolina. I'm the publisher, the founder of Charco Press, co-founder, and we are a local publisher. Very happy to be in this wonderful bookshop with lovely all people here. And we specialize in Latin American literature. For those who don't know us, publish contemporary Latin American traditions. And we're very, very, very lucky to have Velia and Vidal with us here today. I can't quite believe it. It was a very last minute kind of occurrence. She was flying to Dublin and I thought I'm borrowing her. So she's here just today. Then flying to Dublin and then run the world tomorrow. And this is like a pre-event to launch Velia, to launch her work, because her book comes out next year with Charco. Some of us people in the industry will have the what we call the advanced review copy. So it's black and white, but this is her book titled Water. And we're going to be talking about this, but I'm hoping mostly about Velia and all the wonderful things she does. I'll shut up very, very soon. I'm not going to say much about Velia herself because I'd like her to tell you who she is and the incredible amount of things she does. I've just spent most of the day today with Velia, and I think I've learned so much just about her and her vision of the world and the work she does. I'm very in awe of Velia, and I'm sure you will be by the end of this event too. So I'd like all of us to big a big welcome to Velia. Yes, Velia, would you like to tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, good night. I am Velia Vidal. I am very happy here. It's my second evening in English. Yeah, this year I I was studying English in London for 3 months for first time in my life. Okay, and my English is not good, but 2 years ago when Carolina told me to Colombia and told me about the interest to Charco Press for publishing Aguas de Estuario in English. I was a promise for she when the book will be okay and will be published. My English will be good. I speak in English, and now it's not perfect, but I can speak in English with the people. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for the bookstore. A very special hello greetings for the people in the TV, in the social media. Um, I am a Black woman, a Colombian woman. I am a writer, but I think that my first definition is like a reading promoter. I work with children, with young people, uh, with literature, with readings in Choco. Choco is my region. I think the next question is about Choco. I come back to Choco 8 years ago. In this moment, I was very tired to my life in Medellin. It was a perfect life. I was a very incredible social communicator. I was working the Teleantioquia, the most important TV channel in Antioquia, in Medellin, and I was excellent jobs, but I am tired because they don't was my life to my dreams. I I was another dreams, and I changed a lot. Uh, a crazy change because I don't travel to another country, to the Europe, to the United States. I come back to my small, very small town in Choco, and in this moment, my life is changed. Um, I real change, and I I know that my life was uh, reading promotion, and in this moment I write, I make projects for the another people love the books. Yeah.
Thank you. She's doing amazing, I think. Amazing. Yes, so many things to ask Velia today, and I'm sure you'll have lots of questions. I hope it doesn't matter, if you don't know the book, or indeed, I forgot to say, we published this amazing book of essays last year in conjunction with Hay Festival and the British Museum, whereby 10 Latin American authors were called to the British Museum to look at their collection of Latin American objects and select one, and then travel through that object and write a fiction or non-fiction piece. It was open to you, and so Velia is one of the 10 participants of this essay. So, but beyond whether you've read that essay or about Velia or not, I'm sure you'll have lots of questions to ask her, as I do. But I wanted to read just a paragraph for you from what's going to be Velia's book called Tidal Water. And I will let Velia describe it, but it's a very unconventional book, I would say, because an epistolary novel, but we only see one side of that correspondence. And it almost doesn't matter. You never feel that you're missing out. Nunca pensás que te falta algo en el libro, ¿no? Es mi sensación. But
It's very important.
yes, yes.
It's not necessary a man in this book.
Can you understand my accent? Okay. It's a perspective that could only ever come from Choco, this great jungle between two seas, one of the most biodiverse corners of the world, which finished off its beauty with a huge historic mistake: slavery. A mistake we find painful and condemn, but which, in the long run, has allowed us to complete the circle of biodiversity and given this place, already so rich in nature, the good fortune to be inhabited not solely by indigenous people, but also by mixed race mestizos and direct descendants of Africa. All three, on coming together here in this land of water and rain, seas and humidity, were fertilized and gave rise to a particular culture, the culture of Choco. And I wanted to share that with you to give you a very small idea of where you come from, where you went back to, and this culture that way defines the book, defines what you do, or maybe it doesn't, but that's my feeling. So I just wanted to ask you, so to share with us what Choco is and why it's so important to you.
Okay, I think that the place with the people was born is important, but now I think that for us, for the Chocoan people, is a lot important. Maybe more than the another places, and this is relation, yes, have relation with the particularly uh, social situation here. This is a very interesting place in Latin America because it's the most concentration to the Black people. Here, in Quibdó, for example, the capital to Chocó, the 90% of the people was Black people. It's not common in anything city in Latin America. Yes, maybe Cartagena, Cali have more people, a lot more, but in any city, in any place, is the majority. Yes, and the second population is indigenous, and the white people, or the mixed, or the mestizos, blanco mestizos, white mixed, are the minority. Yeah, it's important. Only here. And it's important because for us, especially for the Black people, we can grow in with the teachers, Black teachers, Black professors, Black doctors, yes, Black service, police, yeah, Black people in the states, public institutions, yes, and this is more security for us, yes. Only when we go to another cities, we feel in the racism. It's difficult, but I think it's a little more security for us. For example, exactly for the children, it's very important, the security, yes, because we are not different. You are the same to the friends, to the partners in the neighborhood, yes, in the school, yes. I was not different in my school, maybe because my skin is a little clear, but is not a problem, yes. But when I will go to Cali for my second part to the school, I was different, yes, and I was received a lot of racism. But in this moment, I was 12 years old, yes, and I was more hard. And for this is important, yes, but it's very special place for the world because here we have the 10% to the biodiversity to the world. Yes, the most concentration to the biodiversity to Colombia is here in the Chocó biogeográfico. Yes, it's a ecoregion. Yes,
Ecoregion.
ecoregion. This region is until Panama for the north, until Ecuador for the south. Yes, so the west coast and have two seas, Caribbean and Pacific. And in the Chocó by geography, the Black people is the 71%. Yes, not only in Quibdó, not only in Buenaventura, all region, yes, all west coast to Colombia, including the Golfo, Urabá, el Golfo de Urabá, the Urabá Gulf, yes, this Caribbean. This is important because for the structural racism, these places are the most poor to Colombia. Yes, it's not una casualidad. No es una casualidad.
No, it's not a coincidence.
Yes, it's not a coincidence to the places with the Black people are the more poverty region. Yes. In these places was the more big golden extraction. Yes.
Fractional gold.
Yes, extraction gold in the slavery time. Yes. Was very important because Santa Maria la Antigua del Darién today is a very small town in the Caribbean coast and was the first city to the Spanish colonial Spanish in America. Yes, and was the very important slavery commercial town. Yes, in this time, 4 centuries ago. Yes, but today is a very poor place. Yes, but like I write in this book, the culture is very special because we are Black people and indigenous people, 5 indigenous communities different. Yes, 5 language difference. Only the indigenous, more Spanish. Yes, and it's an explosion to the diversity, and the jungle is very special in particular for the water. Yes, it's the second place with more rain in the world. In 1 year, in my region, the rain is for 300 days. And I love the rain. Yes, I miss it when I stay in Europe. The people tell me, say me, I don't know, tell me. But in London, rain a lot. No, in London, don't rain a lot. In Solano, rain a lot. This is Joko, and I come back here. I don't know why. Maybe because was the place that me more know. Yes, I in this moment I don't was travel to the another country. I only know Solano, Quito, Cali, and Medellin. Yes, and they was my security place. Yes, uh, and in this moment, I was questions about the life, about the dreams, and for me, this place was my place in the world, the perfect place in the world, and was very special because here I found my life. I found my mission in the life. I found uh, my more security uh, place, my more security mission, and this now me tiene has me in the world, not here. It's crazy because um, found this uh, was the possibility to the trip around the world.
Thank you.
It's clear for all. Yeah.
We were saying with Velia before that it's a bit of an anti-English speaking joke, but it's we spent all our lives trying to learn English, since you're little, and I think Velia's doing amazing because we were saying, well, if as an English speaker you try to speak Spanish, to explain your own book or your own theories or your own literature, it would be, I think, very hard. So, or to do it in any language, that you're learning as an adult. So I think we all appreciate your effort. But yeah, for sure, my efforts as well. um, yes, I was saying to you that I've learned so much. I've learned reading Velia, but just talking to Velia today for me was eye-opening in a lot of senses, and that's why I wanted you to share with everybody here today where you come from and how different it is in Latin America to come from a place where the majority of people uh, are Black or Afro descendant or from an indigenous community, because as a publisher, um, we get asked sometimes, oh, your catalog is very unequal because you don't have a lot of Black authors, and it's very hard to represent how unequal the system is in a place, but in the world, but in Latin America, I think in particular in this sense where you have to go through so many hurdles, como vallas, ¿no? To even be seen in any aspect, more so in literature. Um, so I think the book you've written, which you'll be able to buy very soon, it's so brave, um, Velia, not only because you talk about an invisible region and an invisible people, but also because you you do so in a very I don't want to use a trite word, but you do it in a very, I don't know, honest way and frontal. And you also talk about eroticism and you see there's a lot to cover. It's a small book, but there's a lot of topics, eroticism and unconventionality in ways of loving. Um, so I just, that was a very, very long introduction to a question that's very open, but I wanted to know how you approached writing because you're a promoter of reading and you're a promoter of literacy, and I wanted to know how you made that step into writing and sharing your point of views with the world through literature. What took you there? When did you feel you had a space there para escribir una composición? ¿Cuándo fue que sentiste necesito escribir literatura?
Okay. Uh-huh. I think that the most interesting this book for me was the process. It's very important now that this this letter was real. Yes, I was a friend and I sent letters for him, but he's not here. Yes. um, and I think that we make our uh, friendly, yes, friendship, yes, exactly. We make our friendship uh, for letters, yes, because when I changed my life, I traveled to Chocó and he lived in Medellin, yes. And in this moment, we don't have internet, yes, in my town in Vallasolano. And was very, very difficult. I don't was a chat. I can't to go to the internet coffee was very, very difficult. And when I was an opportunity, yes, I write for he, yes, okay, I am okay, and but I write about my life. Yes, I am okay. I am walking for the beach. I talking with my grandma all days, and we drink coffee, and I was happy. And the doctor told me about my enfermedad, illness, that I am okay. Yes, all life. And in a moment, I was, whoa, it's good. It's interesting. This leather is very comfortable for me. And 5 months next, I changed the city. Yes, I traveled to Quibdó. My husband said me, but the project was living in Quibdó, in Vallasolano. And I took, she, you don't stay here. you are in Medellin, and I decide, yes, in this moment, I live in Quito. Okay, because my husband, we decide travel together, but he stayed in Medellin for 1 year, more, 2 years, yes, and I was living 2 years alone in Chocó the first time, and when I stay in Quito, I have more internet, yes, and I can write more for my friends, and uh, we made more confidence, yes, in this letter. And
You trust it more progressively.
yes,
You
yes,
trust each other.
yes, yes, you can feel this, and I think that is like a friends in an office. Yes, day for day we talk in the kitchen, for example, in the lunch. Yes, and we uh, talk in the letters. Yes, he write for me very quickly next to my letter, but my letter were very large, and your answer very small. For this is not here. No, it's not here because next when Laguna Libros, the house publisher in Colombia, told me, okay, this maybe this can be a book, was very problem because my friend thought, no, it's our letters. It's not for the people. It's not for another people. um, and next we think, okay, maybe it's not necessary that you are here. And what very special exactly for the most important was my voice. Yes, my voice like a black woman in Choco. And in this moment, we understand that my voice was important. My voice, uh, my job here in the jungle cities, my job with children, my relationship, my body, my relation with my sexuality, and my capacity to talk about this, to write this. Yes, usually the black women were sexualized. Yes,
Sexualized or
sexualized, yes,
hypersexualized?
hypersexualized. Uh, because it's the looking to the another. Yes, but when I write about my sexual life, yes, it's my look, it's my perspective, not the another perspective. Yes, and and it's important my uh, self perspective about my body, my region, my world. Yes, and it's important for us in the world read about this perspective because all life we read about the another perspective, included your perspective about us. It's crazy. It's very colony state. Yes. And for this was important. And I I am I was writing literature, but in this moment I don't know that I was writing literature. Yes, only thing that this was literature when a man told me, okay, Velia, your letters are literature. Um, but in this time, I was writing a very short stories for children, yes, and I think that this was literature, not my letters, yes. Um, but I think that was very important. The Diplomado Pacífico en Escritura Creativa is a writing creative small course.
Yes, like a creative writing course. Yes.
Yes. Was very racist program. I write about this because it was an idea to the um, Caro y Cuervo Institute. It's a very, very important language in Colombia. And they was a very interesting idea, but the teacher was very racist people, I think. And when I finished the project, we was 23 writers to the Pacific, Colombian Pacific region. Um, but in the presentation in Bogota, he said um, 4 months, the 4 months, um, ¿cómo se dice? Olvidé esta palabra. Immersion. Yes, 4 months to the immersion in the Black people communities. Make the invitation to the event says 4 months to the immersion in the Pacific, Colombian Pacific. Make the results text to the Black communities. And I write for their, excuse me, we don't make immersion. We was born here. A fish not make immersion. Yes. The Bogotan people come here and made an immersion. We not. And the communities not right. The people right. Yes. And we are writers like yours. Yes. When you talk about only communities, you are unrecognized. No reconoces. You don't recognize.
You don't recognize
the people, person for person. Yes. And was a big problem, but was important. Because in this diplomado, in this course, I decided be writer. Yes, because I feel that my letter was important, my short stories was important. And I feel that in this moment, I decide talk about these problems. Yes, because I feeling that these teachers, they are very important writers of Colombia. These teachers not was no estaban haciéndome un favor.
they weren't doing you a favor.
Yes,
or anyone.
yes, no. They was working with the public money. Yes. Only we are making the rights to the right. Yes, we are the right to the writing, to the publishing. Yes, we are, we have, tenemos el derecho. We have the right to the right, to the right. We have the right to the publisher, and this right for all life. We don't have, yes, and for this I decide to write. Yes, I can talk about the emotional story about my relation with the writing. Yes, it's the common. I talk about my family. We have a very special relation with the wars. Yes, we're talking all the time. And my grandfather writes songs. Yes, I my uncle is a very very good singer. Um, but I don't singer, and I think that I have the power to the words for my family maybe, but I think that it's very important decide in one moment to the life, I am a writer. Yes, and it's very important decide if if in my case, if I am a black writer, but but it's different, and this uh, not I not write all time about my black life, you know, um, but it's very important because my perspective to the world is like a black one.
Yeah, you've got so much.
Ay, pero Carolina, que alguien nos tome una foto porque no me va a quedar ninguna foto. Ah, okay. Okay.
Velia is asking for people to take photos.
It's very important for me.
Thank you.
Because we was talking about the I present this book in Portuguese the last month. I was 21 days in Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, Ribeirão Preto, in different cities in Brazil, and I was the first Black woman translated to Portuguese. And I think from Colombia, yes, Afro-Colombian woman, yes. And now we think that I am the first Afro-Colombian woman translated to the English. And for this very important, this photo.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for the applause. I think so. I think so. No, it's fascinating to hear you speak, Velia, about this important decision of not just to become a writer, but to become a black writer and a black woman writer. Because one of my questions we were discussing before, which Velia also talks about in the book, being a promoter of literature in the poorest region in Colombia, is and you mentioned this in the book, is to question it, because as a writer also, but also as a promoter of literature or as a literature person, is how much are you going to change with literature? How much is it important to believe in the power of books? And I think you've just answered that question, but maybe you can tell us about your your experience as a person you are, as an intellectual. Velia is very humble because she's a writer, a novelist, but she's a poet, she's an intellectual, she's an essayist, she's a critic, and she's extremely influential. So we're very honored to have her and to hear her thoughts, I think. So yes, I just wanted you maybe to share with us some of the experiences you've had where you were just telling me downstairs about these mothers and these women that ask you to write the stories. And do you feel a responsibility as well as your own responsibility of your own voice, but do you feel also that you have to represent other people in your writing?
It's um it's very complicated, this, yeah, because the free we need the free to write a lot, yes, to write anything, uh, everywhere, everything in every moment, but it's very complicated because in this moment of the life, for example, I can say, okay, I am a writer and I can write about another thing, yes, and I believe in this freedom, but I can't ignore. I can't ignore my region. I can't ignore my reality. I can't ignore my town. Yes, I working with 200, 2000? No,
2000.
2,200 children in this moment. My organization works with 2,200 children and their children. We talk with them all days about the important to read, and they listen about me, for example, yeah. And for me, it's a very big preoccupation because, for example, these children don't have water for your life. Yes. For example, they don't have access to the healthy service. Yes,
The health system.
health system. And in this moment, I am la única, the only columnist in the most important digital media in Colombia, Cambio magazine. Yes. And I am the only Chocuan woman writing week for week a column. Yes. And I can write about my dresses, for example. Yes. I can write about my travel to Edinburgh, to Bali, to Zurich. Yes. And I can really, this is the freedom to the right. Yes. But I can't. Yes. Because I need talk about this situation to my region. I feel this responsibility. Anything, it's not necessary that people say to me, oh, Velia, we need it. No. It's not a responsibility put for the others. It's my soul. It's my soul. I feel this responsibility because I feel the service. This is my vocation. I think really, and it's necessary talk about these topics in Colombia. It's a very Latin America. It's very racy. Yes, and it's necessary that yes, myself receive a lot of racism in the literature world. I talked to you about this. But this is small if you compare it with the structural racism. Yes. And we need to talk about this. And I think if I don't write about this, who writes about this? Yes. And for this, I think that is my opportunity. I don't have no tengo una crítica por quienes no lo hagan.
You don't criticize people who
Yes.
don't write.
It's only my feeling. Yes. Now, I think that the literature is very powerful. Because, for example, here I write a short story. I write fiction, yes. But in this fiction, I can talk about the poverty, yes. And I talk about the racism. I don't need write only the side, yes. I think that the columns, in the columns, I can write very direct about these problems, but in the short stories, in the novels, in the the children books, I can write literature, fiction in these places. and talk about our life, and not with forms different to the usualities in the life. When I write books for children, for example, and don't use the racist forms to the literature, I make anti-racist. Yes, I don't make to write un panfleto, dijiste.
She's not trying to write pamphlets or pamphletary.
Yes,
or
I
documentary.
can write only literature, only fiction, but my form is anti-racist. Yes, it's not the topic. It's another thing. For example, my next book that I will be present in Colombia in March is a book about arrullos. Arrullos is songs for
Lullabies.
babies.
Lullabies.
Yes, but these arrullos are in Chocó, yes, and the illustraciones.
The illustrations,
The illustrations are really beautiful Black family in Chocó. Yes, and the representation is with dignity. Yes, it's not stereotypical. Yes,
stereotyping.
yes, and this I have many forms to be a Black writer. Yes, it's not only talking about the racism all the time. For example, in Aguas de Estuario, when I'm talking about my sexuality, for example, yes, it's a form to the make anti-racist writing, but it's only erotical moment in the book.
I have one more question for Velia, and then we can open. Well, I have lots of questions, but I'll keep it to one more, and then we can share with the audience. I just want, it's a very maybe predictable question, Velia, but I just wanted to know, because of everything you've been sharing with us, how the book was received when it came out in Colombia. How did you? What were your expectations, and how was it received?
Okay, I don't watch expectations, anything, really, anything. I feel that for me was very difficult when we have a hard life. It's very difficult to believe that this possible change the life. Yes. For example, this is simple and it's funny. Talk about my English, my course English now, but I can't to learn English in another moment in my life. Yes. My town is very small. We don't have energy when I was born. Yes, the energy, electricity. Yes, the electricity to my town came when I was years old. 10 years, 10 years old. I looked at TV for first time for my 4 years, maybe. And for us, it's very simple. The life is beautiful and it's good. But when we know to the world, I think, wow, really, we don't have a lot. Yeah. And for this, it's very difficult to believe that it's possible. For example, in the first part, I feeling that the editors was condescendent with me. Yes,
patronizing.
Yes, y que yo sentía que me hacían un favor.
So Velia thought they were actually doing her a favor by publishing her.
Yes, yes, and I think that maybe it's an commercial interest because I am black woman, but nah, no, 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 it's not possible. They lost the money because anything by my book. Um, but and I in this moment I feel that only my friends will buy the book. But the most beautiful and the most interesting was the readers can send message to me and tell me it's like my life. I needed found my mission in the life. I need change my life. I don't know where is my mission. I can talk about my sexuality. I can talk about my body. I need make different relationships. People in Medellin, in Bogota, in Spain, in Chile, in Mexico. Wow, it's universal. Yes. Um, and this is the most important surprise for me. And I think that this is the most important connection. And this is the real relation that stops the racism because it's not vertical, it's the same. Yes, it's horizontal, it's equal. And I think that is very, very important. For example, with my Choco Jungle Rhymes River and Sea is a new book that I present 2 months ago. Maybe the future is in English, I don't know. It's for children, is a non-fictional book for children. Um, and 1 month ago, we received a message to the Indonesia. Yes, a family, Colombian family, with this book and the children, the boy exactly, a boy, very happy with Emilia. And Emilia is my personaje,
Your character.
yes, with my character to this book, and is a black baby, is una niña,
Girl.
yes, it's a
little
girl to the Choco, and one boy in Indonesia, one boy in United States, one boy in Mexico love to Emilia because they are like Emilia. Yes, for us it's not. It's not beautiful. It's not very, very. ¿Cómo es la palabra que usan? Exotic children to chocolate. No. Yes, it's not exactly for the people. It's other people, simple, like the people to the world. Yes, and I think this is the most important surprise with my books. And I think that this is my real compensation, compensation for my writing. And I am happy for this because now this book have 3 edition in Colombia and one special edition for libraries, the our country. Is in Portuguese and the next year in English. Now it's in English, but the commercial book in English the next May. And now I have a literary agent in London.
Got a super amazing. That's good.
Yes. And this book changed my life. But the first shame was my decision to come back to Japan. Thank you for that.
Do we have time for some
Thank you
questions?
for
We
all.
have, yeah, we have 10 minutes for Q&As. Are there any questions in the room? Otherwise, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good questions.
Thank you so much for bringing Velia. Gracias por estar aquí. I have two questions, but I will make one concerning your last children's book about Choco. I'm curious to know about plans already in place or the desires of your heart of how do you want this book to travel? And I'm particularly interested in how do you want it to travel in Colombia, schools, the curricula, in libraries around the country, or just maybe in Choco, how you would like it to start getting into the houses and starting conversations and
Yes, so, thank you. What's your name?
Sophia.
Sophia. So Sophia wants to know about the most recent children's book you talked about, how you envisage, how you see that, or how you want that to travel in Colombia, in the world, and especially in the Chocó region, if you see it going into schools or into the community itself.
Con particular interés en tal vez cómo puede llegar a las escuelas, cómo los niños pueden empezar conversaciones con.
Okay, in this moment, we started a very interesting conversation. For example, this book was presented in the first page to the El Espectador. It's a very important newspaper in Colombia. And this is very unusual in Colombia, a children book in the newspaper. The people talk, wow, and it's for the important to the book, yeah. And in this moment, for example, private college in Bogota, a very important private college in Bogota, included in your program for this year, and maybe 50 students buy the book and reading in your school. And it's very important because they are Bogotan, yes, and they are a new perspective to my region, yes. And for example, 1 month ago, I was with 40 librarians to the different regions. The cultural minister of cultural minister give the book for they and for the libraries. Yes, 100 libraries in Colombia in this moment receive this book, and maybe the next year, maybe they buy the cultural minister buy another more than number to the books. Choco was very, very, very important. The people is crazy with this book. They send me all times a message and was very, very good, right? Their reception, because the people told me, it's like me. Yes, it's my life, it's my language. And the another people talk all time, wow, it's another Choco. Yes, it's Choco, it's real, but it's different. And it's special because we talk about the violence, we talk about the racism, and was very interesting conversation with my editor. It's possible that a book for children right here, racismo estructural racism. Massacre?
Massacre.
Yes. And I thought, yes, it's very important because these children live with violence. All days are talking about our heroine, heroines, massacre, violence. Yes. And this is the real. And it's a non-fictional book. Yes. And I can't talk about only the bear, the trees, only the river, only the sea. No, it's necessary to talk about the all. Yes, with the language special, with the a beautiful illustrations, but we can't ocultar, hide the reality to the children. Yes, and for this was very good reception. Was very good reception. And for example, 2 universities included this book in this program. It's crazy for me. I do. It's very special. And maybe the next year, maybe we have a very important by for children to go. Maybe I don't know, but it's possible. We are working for us. But the first step was make the best book about chocolate in the world. Lo siento decir que es el mejor libro que se ha hecho sobre el choco, pero
Hi, thank you for being here. I wanted to ask, what replenishes you and gives you energy to keep doing difficult work, and what brings you joy and helps you keep going through all of the hard times that inevitably come with the activism that you do day to day.
So I say it in English, si no me entiendes, what's your name?
Danielle.
Danielle. So Danielle wants to know what replenishes you, what keeps you going doing the work that you do, your activism, and when everything you do faces something that could be hard. So what gives you joy, and what replenishes you with energy day in, day out in your work?
wow. For me, it's very important. The time alone is very important. For example, tomorrow I don't talk. It's very important because this moment I can think. Yes, I need to think. But maybe very small connections, very small message can connect to me with the purpose. For example, 2 weeks ago, I was in Urabá, in the go to the Urabá in Antioquia. I was 11 meetings with 300 teachers, and was very hard. But in some moments, some teachers told me, "Thank you for stay here. I am learning to love me because I hate my heart. I hate my nose. I hate my skin all life. But now with talking with you, I understand another concepts, another ideas, and I think that I can talk about this with my children. Yes, and these small moments was the most important for me. Yes, and I think, okay, if I made all this only for this person, it's important. Yes, and it's similar with children. Yes, with John, and I have a lot stories similar, a lot, all time, all time. And this is my energy. Yes, these small stories, these small connections. I have a lot of stories. For example, if a woman write me and told me, I decide. Well, it's very special because I was receiving messages. For example, I read your book and I decide stop my work and change my, yes. And this in June or July this year, and a woman write me, now I have an open relationship with my husband. And I thought, okay, if I write this book for this, it's okay.
Thank you.
These stories connect to me and send energy for me.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. I think that's it. We need to wrap up. Velia is going to sign some books here. So if anybody wants to grab a copy and have a we chat over there. We're signing over there with Velia. We'll stay around for a few minutes. So, but thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Velia, for your
Thank you for
generosity.
you. Thank you for understanding.